I'm Leah. Are you a mother of young children? Let's talk about labor and delivery. My first birth story was a very long one, so when my second labor hit, I was in denial a little bit. I ran upstairs and laid on the couch moaning. David said, "Do you need something?" I said, "Just go take Samson to the park to feed the ducks." When he left, the grisly contractions started rolling right on top of one another. It felt like a mean pool buddy dunking you over and over again. So I did what any technologically advanced mother would do, and I picked up my iPhone and tried to download a labor app as fast as I could before another contraction hit. I soon noticed they were less than 5 minutes apart, and it was go time. So I called David to call my mom to watch Samson, and a doula, who is like a birthing coach since I was attempting to do this one naturally, and my chiropractor to adjust me. I paced back and forth like a nervous cat, worried that the labor and delivery would slow down like Samson and everyone would have come to my house for nothing. But it was real labor, and unbeknownst to me, I had put on a yellow string bikini to labor in our bathtub to make the contractions less painful, but I was screeching so loud and my top fell off, but no one dared tell me because I was out of control. Well, hello there, topless mama, you will make a fine mother. Finally, I told everyone I was done with it and I wanted to go to the hospital and get an epidural, the magic word. I was done with the pain. I slowly made my way down the stairs and arrived at our large white Suburban. I yanked open the door. I felt like saying a bad word because I knew if I stepped up to get in, it would trigger another terrible contraction. Why did David have to buy such a stupid big car? And where was Dave, by the way, my driver? Soon he came sprinting through the garage and to my horror laid a monogrammed striped beach towel on the passenger seat so I wouldn't leak on his car. I reeled back like a seething python and said, "What? You made me wait for this? Who cares about your stupid car? I'm in the worst pain of my life. Let's go." Dave hopped in the car, and unbeknownst to both of us, I was in transition labor, which people say that transition labor would make even a sainted woman stand up and swear. It was terrible, and I yelled at him at each stoplight, at every acceleration, "Honey, are you trying to cause this pain? Stop it!" He finally just turned to me and said, "Leah, I am not even going to talk to you anymore." When we arrived to the hospital parking lot, we screamed to a stop like a good action scene, and I prayed to God that no one was there, but unfortunately it literally looked like a Beatles concert had just let out, and I said, "Well, gotta do what you gotta do." So as I had anticipated, as soon as my feet hit the parking lot, I started another contraction, which made me yell like Tarzan's cousin. And David said, "Relax, honey, relax." And I turned right back to him and said, "You relax." We made a very odd trio. Me leading me, the out-of-control, blonde, pregnant whale of a woman, with this kind, crunchy doula telling me kind words, and David trailing behind, not quite sure what to do, but we made our way as fast as we could toward those glass doors of drugs. I could not wait for the pain to end, and I didn't care who was watching me. "Want to go get checked in fast at a hospital?" Walk in yelling like a dying coyote. That lady checked us in 5 minutes flat, didn't ask me a single question, and threw me into a wheelchair. But let me tell you, those wheelchair contractions were like sitting on fire. They were horrific, but I knew that the end was in sight. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was about to get pain relief. Well, the doctor walked in, checked me, and to my absolute horror said, "Well, Leah, you are so far progressed that an epidural would not kick in time. So what I'm going to do is break your water and you will deliver very quickly. The baby is right there." At that point, I vomited. I was in so much stress. Wiped the back of my mouth with my hand, trying to gain as much composure as I could in one of those horrible pale blue backless hospital gowns with no panties on, and I said, "I'm sorry, you're saying I'm at a hospital and you're not going to give me drugs? This is ridiculous." But it was what was going to happen. They broke my water, and David texted a wild text to my family, let them know the baby was coming faster than any of us expected. Well, the two grandmas, my mother-in-law mother, jumped in a car to race to the hospital. About 5 minutes into it, a police car tried to stop them. Keyword, tried. The police car turned on the siren and the lights, but apparently in Grandma land, a baby arriving is more important than the law, so they continued to speed an additional 10 minutes until they arrived at the hospital entrance. The driver was my mother-in-law, so she turned to my mother and said, "You go in first, it's your daughter having the baby." My kind, gentle, sweet, Christian grandma mother gets out of the car and out jumps the cop, gets on his hands and knees with a loaded, pointed gun straight at my mom and says, "Stop! Hands in the air! Hands in the air!" My mother-in-law got a $400 speeding ticket that I am framing in the baby's book. And for the duration of our hospital stay, every time we got a new nurse or a new doctor, they would walk in our room very professionally. "Well, hello, Mrs. Spina. We're here to check on your baby. I'm Dr. Smith, but I just have to ask you, are you the ones whose family was held at gunpoint at the hospital entrance?" Getting pregnant, pregnancy, labor and delivery, it's all a wild ride. Enjoy it. And you know what's fun? Remember a few of these stories, because someday your little toddler like mine wants to hear about when we got pregnant with him and what it was like carrying little baby Samson in my tummy, and what about the day he arrived. In fact, I know you don't have a lot of time, but you may want to jot down some of your memories. It could become your favorite book in the whole world. If you'd like to hear more of these stories, visit leahspina.com or check out my book, Stop and Smell Your Children.